Matt, there continues to be a cry for change about this particular topic, which is when is the NCAA going to change the transfer portal dates and all that? Well, the coaches had their convention this past week in Nashville, and it looks like there's movement for a shift in the transfer portal to the first Monday after the SEC championship game for a 30-day period of time, and then a 15-day transfer portal opening in the spring. And that would give a little sanity, I would say. Man, yeah, I want to hear what you have to say about this. But let's not forget you have the championship game on, let's just say the 5th, and then you're going to be playing in 8 teams will be playing in a first round matchup in the college football playoff about 2 weeks after that. But the transfer portal will be open during that time.
Yeah, it's crazy to think it would be opened during the season like that. But as we've seen, once that SEC championship and those other conference championship games happen, guys kind of already know if they're
Yeah.
leaving or not. They know if how their playing time was, how their experience was throughout the regular season. So it seems like a lot of guys enter that first couple of days. But it's something new. But I just wanted the change to happen and stay. I want them to figure out what they're doing and have it stay. It might be tough for coaches because they've got early signing day period in the middle of December, a
Yep.
week before Christmas. So not only, boom, SEC championship game happens, right? You've got to continue to recruit these players to get them to sign, but you also have to recruit your own players, see who's in the transfer portal. There's so much going on. And like us, once those conference championship games happen, we're thinking, okay, a little bit of a break before we start covering these playoff games, but there isn't a break. There's not, I mean, it's everything back to back to back. There's so much going on. So it is a little odd that it's all this is happening at the end of the regular season. But if it's good for the players, I'm all about it because at the end of the day, these players know as the season moves on, hey, is this the right fit for me or not? Can I play here more next year? Do I need to go somewhere else? So at least they have that time throughout the month of December, I guess.
All right, so a lot of things to cover here because December has become the busiest month of the year in college football, and it used to not be this way. I'll tell you that as a person who's been around the block for a while. You are starting with your championship game, so that's now going to be 8 teams playing in championship games. Then we're going to have later in the month, we're going to have not that much longer, we're going to have another 8 teams playing in a playoff. In the meantime, Matt, as you diagnosed, a couple of days before the first round of the playoff, you're going to have signing day. Moving signing day to December has wrecked signing day, first of all, for a lot of different things. But I think the problem is now if you move it back to February, the portal's going to goof up signing day. I just don't know because one issue here is you're trying to keep a collegiate calendar, which guys are going to start classes on the 7th or 8th of January, so they're going to want to transfer from their school to the next school. This has become a giant mess. I mean, would it be insane to have signing day in August?
It wouldn't be insane, but it would be tough if you sign in August and then the coaches change or whatever. There's got to be
Yeah.
some kind of loophole there. But if it goes back to February, I don't know if that would work because coaches like Kirby, he wants 95%, almost to 100% of his guys to be there enrolling early and in the spring. And we see guys get there in December working with the team for bowl practices. So if they can't sign until February, how does that work with guys who want to be there in the spring and on campus in January? So I feel like you really need to have a December signing period at some point. And at first, a lot of parents loved it because they said it's before Christmas, so we can sign, get all that done, enjoy the last couple of weeks in December with family before they
Leave.
go to
Yeah.
campus in early January. And now it's January 16th, and we've got several Alabama players entering the portal now, trying to find a new home. School's already started. Like you said, it is a big, giant mess, and I'm hoping one day it all can get figured out where it works for everyone. But
But it can't.
crazy December is going to be crazy December forever. There's no way that's going to be any different. It appears to me.
So let me just add this really quickly too, Matt, which is that I was talking with somebody in broadcasting, and they were talking about the differences at each school. Like, for instance, Georgia's commencement is, I think, on the 9th of December, something like that. So you have graduation on the 9th. Well, like at Clemson, I think it's later than that. So that's schools on semester. What about schools on quarter? Like some of the Western schools, UW, Washington, and Oregon, I believe, are both still on quarter systems. There is no, I mean, this is always going to be nasty. I think the question is, how can this has got, listen, don't hate the NCAA. The NCAA is just a function of the schools. The schools are the problem here. The schools can fix this tomorrow. You know who's the lead of the NCAA? The president at Georgia. So you want to direct your hate mail to Jerry Moorhead? Go ahead and do that. This is a problem that's got to be fixed probably on the conference level. The 4 power conferences need to get into a room and say, this calendar is not working. For our most prestigious sport, this calendar is not working. We've got to do something. Broadcasting continues to encroach on the year. We've gone from college football starting on Labor Day and ending on New Year's, Matt. It's probably going to start the week before, as it has been more and more, start the week before Labor Day and then end the week after Martin Luther King Day. You're talking about adding basically a month to college football season, okay? That's going to happen sooner than later. So we've gone from a essentially 3-month season to much more like a 5-month season when you talk about December. I don't know how they make December work. I mean, I really don't. I'm not just saying that. I
Yeah.
mean, what is the solution if you're Ryan Puglisi and you're enrolling early, and you know if you sign in August, nothing would change for you now, but
Yeah.
then you're taking away the ability for everyone who's going into their senior season to sign. I mean, like, you're not taking away. You're taking away that the ability to scout those players, evaluate those players. I don't. And in the spring, it's kind of too late.
Yeah. I I think an early signing day period like in August would benefit several guys. I say the quarterbacks, but in August I thought Dylan Raiola would have signed and was on the verge, and then
Yep.
we saw that happen. So if guys really want to and are 100% all in, I think that would give them an opportunity to sign and just be done with it. Guys like Sokovie White, who's a 3-star receiver, who Georgia could have lost 5 games, and that dude was all Georgia no matter what. But you might only have 5 or 6 guys sign at that early period. And if you're Kirby, you probably only want 5 or 6 guys to
Yeah.
sign, because once they sign, they're
Right.
in, right? So it's December's a mess. I don't think everyone is ever going to be 100% happy with everything. There's just too much going on, but it'd be nice to see some type of change in the right direction. I don't know what that direction is, but there's just so much going on in December, and now it's at the regular season and before the playoffs. It's a lot. It's a lot for these kids. It's a lot for these parents, these coaches, media members trying to cover all these different things going on at the same time. I'd like to see it get fixed, but I don't know what the answer is. Unfortunately, wish I did. Maybe tomorrow I might. I don't know.
Well, we are talking about Matt DeBerry. How aggravated has Miss DeBerry been during December's?
She just thinks it's work. She doesn't know what type of work. I'm covering this, covering this, covering this.
Mrs. Leahy
Um,
was pissed when they moved it to when they moved signing day to December. But I
yeah,
think these the encroachment. I don't mean that in a negative way. The encroachment of broadcasting into middle December is really going to. So I just wonder, Matt, if everybody's going to want to deal with 2 things that they didn't deal with during the season while they're getting ready for their biggest games, which is the transfer portal and signing day. I mean, currently signing day is 2 weeks away from the college football playoff semifinals. it will be 2 to 3 days. I mean, if you play on Friday, it will literally be 2 days if my math is right. Before signing day will be 2 days before they play.
Yeah.
You could have signing day. Hold on, Matt. You could play on. Let me just map this out without guessing as much. You know, it sure seems to me like we are trying too hard to shove in um, all of these things at once. That's my well, they've not. If it okay, I'm gonna go on what it's been in the recent past. Okay, I'm gonna go on what the dates have been in the recent past, not what it was. However you want to put it. So keep in mind that signing day this coming year should be on December 18th, Matt. Okay, so Georgia will play in the golly. Georgia will play, or someone will play in the SEC championship on the 7th. 11 days after that is signing day. Okay, 2 days after that is the first on-campus college football playoff first round game. A day after that, so 3 days after signing day, are the others. So in fact, someone will deal with, we play a huge game on the 7th. We have to sign our entire class 11 days later. 3 days after that, we're playing for our life. And that is all in a 14-day period. Now, is that normal and healthy?
It's not normal or healthy.
No.
And for teams that are traveling, playing on the
Correct.
road, that signing day could be a travel day if you're playing on
You would
Friday.
travel on Thursday. So, well, I don't know. If you're so let's just say you're Georgia, and Georgia's a bad example. Let's say you are Louisville. You lost the ACC championship. You're the 12th seed. Okay. You are going to travel to Oregon, who did not win the Big Ten championship. All right. They're hosting you. You are signing on Wednesday. You've got to go to Oregon for a Friday night game. Are you going to travel on Thursday, or would you travel Wednesday afternoon? You'd probably travel Wednesday afternoon.
Not only that, but the days leading up to signing day, you're on the phone with recruits. You're on the phone with their parents. And that's going to be a day where you have to practice. Are you practicing on signing day as you're trying to get this high four-star that you've been recruiting for a long time, trying to get him at the last minute? You're on your phone. You're trying to practice for, again, with season on the line. But you're also trying to close your class all in a matter of days.
Psychotic.
It's crazy. When you really dig into it, it's nuts. It might take a few years for everyone to really get a hold of how to work around this. And I'm talking about the college staffs, but
there are media rules for college football playoff. There are broadcasting things. I mean, they are mandated to open practices. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that like Kirby hates. That like, well, and then I mean, like, I'm not advocating for Kirby's position. Actually, the opposite. But what I'm saying is, this has gotten a little bit. Wait, am I wrong? Shouldn't we be able to see some practices, for God's sakes, even if they're just stretching? Yeah. I mean, but this is too much. I mean, I know these guys are paid a bunch of money or whatever we want to talk about, whatever criticism, kind of backhanded criticisms there are. But this is the human brain, Matt, can only, now you and me maybe, but in that 14-day period, there's only so much data that the brain can process. They're asking these guys to do too much in a condensed period of time.
I couldn't imagine seeing. I mean, Kirby gets kind of frustrated and angry. I couldn't imagine how angry and frustrated Kirby would be doing media obligations those several days. But again,
the money comes from the media. Hey, listen, now. The money's coming from the media. So like let's not get confused about where the money comes from. It's not coming necessarily from fans.
Yeah. But for me, covering recruiting, signing day is signing day. But now you have to cover signing day while covering a press conference about the college football playoff game. I mean, there's so much. I don't know how they would figure it out, but right now, looking at it as we are today, it just seems like pure madness.
Well, and it's too late to change it for 24. I mean, those broadcasting days are locked in because of NFL stuff. But
Mhm.
and it might be too late to change signing. NCAA can do whatever the NCAA wants to do, and the conferences need to kind of get a strong arm situation going there. It's not happened yet. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.